Thank you.
Carolyn Fevan, many thanks indeed. Now, there is always an element of chance in predicting the future, obviously, but the broad consensus among tech watchers is that the biggest of all the next big things will be AI, or artificial intelligence. Machines will be able to do things that for millennia we've blithely presumed would always be the exclusive domain of humanity. Reasoning, recognizing speech, text, images, collaboration. In short, machines will think. And the impact on everything from jobs and healthcare to transport and education is likely to be as profound as the industrial and information revolutions combined. But at what cost? Our technology editor, David Grossman, has been given exclusive access to Microsoft's AI labs in Seattle and has been to see how this future is shaping up.
There's nothing, perhaps, that looks quite so dated as yesterday's view of the future.
Seattle salutes to science in the century to come, to see how man will live and work and play in the year 2000.
Seattle's Space Needle and monorail, built for the 62 World's Fair, probably tell us more about the assumptions of that time than the realities of our own. Most often, predictions miss the really profound shifts.
What Eve will look like in AD 2000.
Like this pre-war assumption that the 21st century woman of fashion would still have a lady's maid to help her dress.
Shoes will have cantilever heels, and an electric belt will adapt the body to climatic changes.
Pity then the people who work here. This is Building 99 in Redmond near Seattle. It's Microsoft's research facility. In here, the predictions that they make determine the future of the company, and perhaps, if they're right, all of our futures.
Do you need help finding something?
We're betting the company on advances in AI. We think this is the future.
Reach back.
I've been given exclusive access to meet the people and see the projects that Microsoft believe will shape that future.
It's reached the point now where people can have, very natural conversations with software. Software can understand what they're saying.
Are you here looking for Eric?
I am looking for Eric, yes.
Eric is not here at the moment.
And looked at how they were actually walking.
Eric Horvitz is head of Microsoft's AI program.
Figuring out who would want the elevator and when, how many seconds later.
So even the lifts here run on this new technology.
So much of our civilization, what we think is special about humans, is based in our intellect, in our ability to see, understand, reason, converse, and collaborate. And for the first time in history, we're getting close to building machines that have some of that intellect.
We went from a place where it would get it right about 80% of the time to a point where now it's actually achieved human parity in speech recognition. And that's something that's just happened, 7 months ago.
You can probably make sense of the jumble of colours and shapes in this photograph almost instantly, even though chances are you've never seen it before. But consider what it would take for a machine to do that. Well, now they can.
We've taken natural language processing research and computer vision research and had people from those two fields sort of work together to be able to generate sentences about pictures. So we can actually look at another one here. The sentence that we generate with no context other than the content of the image here is a man swimming in a pool of water. It used to be the case that it took thousands and thousands of images and hours to train. Now we're down to dozens and minutes or even seconds to train a new model.
So the building blocks for an AI world are almost complete. Computers can now not only recognize pictures and objects, but gestures and video and speech and text and faces and even emotion. All of these skills can be used by developers in an almost infinite variety of combinations to create new applications.
It's been a long time coming. There's been research that Microsoft's been doing for really 15, 20 years. Only recently are we seeing these services at a level of quality that a developer could actually build on and have reliable experiences from. Because, prior to that, the amount of data required to truly make high confident predictions from artificial intelligence wasn't there, and the computing power wasn't there.
But a world of super intelligent computers understanding everything isn't everyone's idea of technological perfection.
Does any part of this future terrify you at all?
I'm concerned with the potential misuse of this technology by malevolent forces, by people with ill will, by state and non-state actors who can gain strong powers with these technologies. I happen to also think that the answer to some of that is the AI itself, because there's no better defense and no better detector of malevolence than AI software itself.
And very soon we might forget we're talking to computers at all. AI systems can have human-facing front ends known as bots for us to interact with. For example, Xiaoice has been developed by Microsoft to interact with people on Chinese social media. And with every conversation, Xiaoice learns both about the individual and humanity.
So apparently you're Mr. Bot.
Absolutely, that's what they call me around here.
More officially, Dan Driscoll is development manager and principal architect of the Microsoft Bot framework. He says humans love bots.
They form emotional connections with some of these chatbots and have long conversations. I think the average for Xiaoice is 23 turns per conversation. So people will chat, say, hey, how are you doing? And Xiaoice will respond back, say, oh, I'm having a good day. How are you doing? They form a kind of an emotional relationship. And that's one of the things that we put into chatbots. So many bots have both a sort of like a factual and IQ component and an emotional or personality and EQ component.
AI will not only be able to know and recognize everything and everyone, it will know how to charm us, how to persuade us. It will know how to reassure us and how to frighten us. Instead of us operating the computers will be pushing our buttons. Whoever controls the AI probably controls the future. There's already disquiet about using big data to target voters. Well, imagine what an all-seeing, all-knowing AI could do.
Are you concerned at all about, for example, AI in elections, AI
Absolutely.
in our democratic processes?
AI systems can be designed to persuade, in an algorithmic way, to optimize goals of changing someone's beliefs or enhancing their beliefs about one thing versus another. The prospect that someday data mining, data analysis, very close targeting of particular demographics can be used in elections to influence elections is a very, very important debate. On the one hand, we can see and one can imagine how authoritarian regimes could use these technologies to do tracking, surveillance, persuasion that would strengthen this authoritarian posture and position. On the other hand, these techniques of AI also open up the world for pluralism, for more discussion and collaboration, and understanding and tracking, even understanding sources of persuasion and signaling coming into one's life. So we see this prospect of things going in different directions.
So we shouldn't ignore the huge potential benefits. About 30 miles outside Seattle, I saw Microsoft's AI farm. Data-driven farming could revolutionize how the planet feeds itself. However, measuring precise moisture and nutrient levels for each part of a field would require thousands of sensors and be prohibitively expensive. Instead, an AI model of the farm can be built with just a few sensors in the ground and a few photographs from the air.
This is going to help the farmers reduce costs, use much less water, use much less lime, use less fertilizer, less nutrients in the soil. So this is definitely going to have impact on reducing the cost as well as less harm on the environment.
And the early indications are that yields will rise as fast as costs fall. Using cheap cameras and tethered helium balloons, AI could revolutionize subsistence farming in the developing world. Artificial intelligence is growing fast, getting smarter all the time. While some fear it could end our species, others believe it will liberate humanity. Very soon, AI will take off, and we will find out if we control it or it controls us.